Hello, welcome to Diane in Stitches. I'm Diane and this is my channel where I will be telling you all about my sewing exploits, warts and all, which is the case in this current project that I've had on the go. So I did record this yesterday. This is take 2. I did record this yesterday and I was using my camera with my mobile phone used as a monitor because the camera doesn't have a flip out screen. And I spent the best part of the morning trying to get them to talk to each other again. Worked fine like the first time I tried it. This time it seemed not to want to work, so I had to resort back to my phone. And by the time that had happened, I had to have lunch, come back up, and the pesky sun was round, causing a lot of glare. I persevered, but then I decided, no, not doing that one. I don't know if it'd be better in the summer when the sun's a bit higher, but in any case, I've decided to spend a bit more money. You know what they say, buy cheap, pay twice. So I've ordered a bit of lighting, and I've ordered a new clicker because I'm having to now reach for the phone to turn it on and off. And I had a little clicker. I think it was like £3 or £4. And it worked once. So I ordered a new clicker. Anyway, we'll get started on the proper subject now. So I've had this coat on the go since December, this AlexCoat by Atelier Jupe. And it hasn't been without 1 or 2 issues, shall we say. As you can see, I'm no stranger. I've broken out the coats that I've made before. This one is the Elian Mac. It's called a timeless trench. But it hasn't really got many features of a trench coat, like the shoulder flaps and epaulettes and such. But that was a bit of a quandary. I had issues with that one. It comes, as it said on the pattern, single or double-breasted. And I don't like double-breasted as a rule, so I thought I'll make the single-breasted one. When the pattern arrived, it was on one of their weekly specials. They have reduce some of their patterns most every week to about, I think, $3 or something. £2 something it works out at. Anyway, when I read through the instructions, and it said, so you've got the double-breasted, normally your 2 rows of buttons where one is for fastening and the other one are just for show. Their version of making it single-breasted was to just leave off this show, what they called the faux buttons. Just leave that off, so you would have a row of buttons down the left-hand side and nothing to match it. It was just like, I queried it on their Facebook page, and somebody mentioned, I don't think the designer came on, but somebody said, oh, cut off the front of the facing panel and make it narrow and do that. And I thought, well, I shouldn't really. The pattern should be single-breasted out of the packet. I shouldn't have to hack the pattern to get my single-breasted preference. So I was watching through their video that they put on all their patterns, the young lady on there that does the videos for all the patterns. And at the end, she said, I've decided not to do buttons. I'm just going to put a tie belt on. So I thought, well, I'm just going to do that because I don't want buttons all the way down one side. So that was that. But it's quite again, that was only a cheap fabric from Pound Fabrics. Got a nice bright purple lining. So that was okay. And then there's the octave coat, which I did from Love Notions, which I was going to do with my green fabric. And I made it short because it was only a muslin. I made it shorter. I wish I'd left it the full sort of mid-thigh length length now. I didn't really have. I don't think I had much issues with that one. But the only thing that made me not want to make my green coat out of that pattern was that button placement, which was to one. It was just one button, but that was also to one side. And when I put it on, I I sort of went off the idea. Hence I went on the search and got 2 more patterns to go at. But that one didn't really give me much hassle. But as you can see, what I've done, I've put another put another button and just balanced it. It looks a bit double-breasted, but it's okay. So I'm quite happy with that one overall. I don't know whether I'd make that one and use the 2 buttons for my good fabric. I'm not sure. Anyway, we move on to the elephant in the room, as it were. The Atelier Jupe AlexCoat, which is thankfully now finished. Quick review of 1 or 2 bits and bobs on this pattern. It was very, very strange. So first thing, the one thing that they did do was that they put the cutting lines and the seam line on the pattern. And I normally print off, from my size, I sort of print 2 below and 2 above. I usually print off about 3 or 4 on the Adobe, because I send it off to the A0 printed. And I print 3 or 4 sizes. But each of the sizes had the 2 the cutting line and the seam line, and it was just like all this bunch of lines. And so I told the printer not to print the seam line, just the cutting line, which was fine. But then the pattern pieces, when you look at them, that's what you get, just the number I've written on the actual pattern piece. All the pattern pieces, all 15 of them, just have the number on it. And then on one of the pattern, the A0 sizes, pattern papers, there's this. So that tells you you've got pick a pattern piece, and then you've got to refer to this to actually see what that pattern piece is. That tells you the name of the pattern piece. So when I traced it out, I just put all the info on the appropriate piece. I just wrote on the size I wanted, and because you've then got to look at another area of the pattern instructions to find out how many. I mean, it's usually 2 and it's usually mirrored, but you've got to look at this other area on the instructions to actually find out how you need to cut it out once, twice, or on the fold or whatever. So that was I got over that. That's not insurmountable, but I just found it a little bit strange that the only thing on the pattern piece was literally the number. So I'm just looking at my little notes of what I need to mention on this. So that was that, but the main issue for me, and I know at least one other sewist had this issue because I watched her video, and she got into a bit of a kerfuffle with getting this lining vent sorted. Now, before little few steps back, I got the coat on the table here, and I did a video trying to explain what the issue was, because they were confusing me, at least, with what they were meaning by left and right, and what they were meaning by right side and wrong side. It worked out, and I mean they did put a video up. They haven't got a video sew along for the whole coat, but they have a video just for doing the vent piece. So that was quite helpful, I suppose. But it was just such a weird. They initially said that the cutting the piece, there's a little bit of the lining back. It's got an extension bit, and then there's a line going in, and you've got to leave the extension bit on one side and cut the extension bit off on the other side. And what they say is, I'll just read from the instructions: cut the part from the vent at the right back lining as indicated on the pattern piece, left and right looked at the right side of the fabric. So they seem to be suggesting there that you look at from the right side of the fabric and you cut the one on the right, cut the little inset out on the right hand piece, on the right piece of, I'm getting confused myself again now, as if looking at it on the right side of the fabric. But then on the next one, they say to now work on the right side, once you've joined the two right and left pieces together, work on the right side of the lining fabric. So you in effect, theoretically, you're turning it, putting it down on your table so that your seam is underneath. So you've got your, you know, your right side showing. Then when you get to the vent, it's saying in our instructions, and it's a little bit strange, like a Google Translate thing. It's obviously from French, and it's not quite English-ish. In our instructions, we refer to the right and left part of the vent. Right and left when you're wearing the coat. The right part of the lining is the part where you cut the piece off the vent. It does add, you can mark both sides to make it easier. But anyway, what I'll do is I'll just put this little bit of video in here that I made earlier. Here's one I made earlier. And it just probably, you probably don't understand a word I'm saying as I'm saying it, but it might, the picture might actually let you understand the frustration that I was getting trying to do this and understand these instructions. It was just unbelievable. So I'll put that little bit of video in now. So I'm at this point on this flipping coat, not the word I'd like to use, of doing the vent, the back vent. Now the confusion that I think, well, I was confused anyway. I certainly know one other sewer that's gone a little bit wrong with this vent thing. Because on the instructions, you have to cut a little piece out to leave one vent one side as it is, and then cut this inset out of the other side. And it tells you in the instructions to cut the part from the vent at the right back lining. And they're clarifying left and right looked at the right side of the fabric. But if I were to look at this from the right side of the fabric, that's actually the left. If this was turned right over, that's actually the left side. But then further in the instructions, when they're on about instructions for the vent, it says, in our instructions, we refer to the right and left part of the vent, meaning right and left when you're wearing the coat. The right part of the lining is the part where you cut the piece off the vent. So as I'm wearing the coat, this is the wrong side. So when I flip the coat back right sides out, then this will be the right side because it's going to attach to the right. Looking at the back of the coat, this is the right side, this is the left. So when this is inside the coat, then this will also be the right side. So I've cut it out from the correct piece, as it were, because it will be the right side. But it's just that when it first said cut it, the right will be the right when it's the right side facing. Well, when the right side's facing, that's actually the left side. So I think this is the confusion. There's so many little issues with this pattern. So I don't know if that's the issue that the other sewist had, in that just totally misunderstood, which is easy to do. I mean, this instruction was just ridiculous. So I think I'm now getting there. So all we have to do now is this attaches to that side, and then that attaches to that side, and then you have to do some sort of joining in the middle. But it seems, I think I'm getting there with that now. It was I just wanted to clarify, in case anybody stumbles across this video that is having trouble with this AlexCoat by Atelier Jupe, then hopefully they might find this and it might sink into place. But really very strange. But hopefully that might clarify it for some people. But I shall get on now with attaching this vent, and I shall be glad to see the back of this coat. And the other thing that I hadn't thought about when doing this coat, because it's got the back vent, normally what I did with the octave coat is I joined the sleeves while it was all inside out, but I hand stitched the hem, which is something on one of the YouTube channels I watch, which is Lifting Pins and Needles, a lady called Karina. Excellent videos that she does. She's really has some innovative, and she alters things, and she's very good. And she said she hand hems everything. So I thought, well, I don't mind because I hate this pulling through the lining. I did that with the trench coat. But I did the gap in the body, not the sleeve. I don't know how anybody gets it through, put bags out through a sleeve gap in the lining. Beats me. But anyway, but with the octave, I pulled it all through, and then I just slip stitched the hem by hand, and that was fine. And I just thought, I'll do that with this one, completely forgetting that the back vent's in the way. So I had a bit of a fiddle to try and get the front face, the bottom of the front facing where it joins the hem, and tuck it all in and try and get a little. I turned it inside out as much as I could and sewed up the ends on the machine, and then tried to just get the rest of it hand hemmed in the middle, little bits of each side of the vent. So that was a bit of a struggle. And then the only other deliberate mistake I made was I got this button. I was going to put 2 buttons on this coat. The pattern only calls for 1, and I was going to put 2 on. I got these nice big black buttons. What I failed to take note of was that they don't fit into the little slot on your automatic buttonhole foot. Too big. So I can't do an automatic buttonhole. So I'm on YouTube again, how to do, and so I had to go old school and do the bar tack, come down, but do it in 4 stages. And I thought, I did a bit of practice on, as you do, on scrap fabric. And I was going to put the buttonhole on the white bit here, and something in my brain said, no, put it on the dark bit, Diane. And perfect ones on the scraps, as you know. Is that Murphy's or Sod's Law? I think I've gone through this before, but anyway. So I did it on the black bit, and it's a little bit iffy, but nobody's going to see it. So I thought, I'll just stick with 1 buttonhole. I've had enough now. I want this coat done. So that's where we're at. So I just did the 1 buttonhole, but it's fine, and it's a nice coat. I mean, for $1.95 a metre as a muslin, I think it's pretty wearable. I quite like it, actually. And the only other bit of a mishap that I had was when I was interfacing all the pieces. I didn't interface the whole coat, as the pattern did. It said that you interface the whole every piece. But it says if you don't want to interface the whole coat, these are the pieces that you should interface, and the upper collar was one of them. So I'd got this. I had a pressing cloth. I'd got the pattern pieces cut out, and the bits of interfacing, the bits that needed interfacing, had the appropriate bits of interfacing resting on top of the fabric. I just picked the upper collar, took it to the ironing board, took my pressing cloth. And I'm very careful, and just doing the pressing it down 10 seconds each thing. Quite a wide piece. And I lifted the corner of the pressing cloth up, and the interfacing came up with it. And I just thought, oh, it's not stuck. It's not stuck down on the part. Well, something's gone wrong here. And as I lifted the whole pressing cloth up, I realised, I think you can guess where I'm going with this. I had the interfacing the wrong way up. It was the sticky side was against my pressing cloth. So I've now got this. I've tried to peel off as much as I could, but it's not happening. It's just stuck fast. So that's failure. I've ordered a new pressing cloth, and I shall never do that again, ever. She says, hopefully. Like, was it last year or the year before? I thought, I've never sewn through my finger with the sewing machine, and I went through, broke the needle, and anyway. So there we are. That's my tale of woe on the AlexCoat. So I'm not doing the coat with my good fabric next. I'm having a break from coats. I'm coated out. So Keith, my husband, wants another cardigan. I made him one, I think it was last year, in a French terry grey, fluffy backed. So the pattern I'm doing is, it's the Waves and Wild Saltaire cardigan. It's the short one he had with the pockets. So I've just got this. This was from Sew Me Sunshine. I can't remember, it was before the Black Friday sale, or it was in the Black Friday sale, I can't remember, but it's just like a blue stretch. It's like I think it's like a French terry, but it's just called, I think it's Fleece Back Sweat, and it's just got a nice fleecy back. And in fact, I ordered this at the same time from Sew Me Sunshine. This is the Nina Lee South Bank sweater, and this is called Cozy Colours. That little flecks on it. I keep thinking I've got fluff on me, but it's just these little woven in flecks. So that's the next on the list, a cardigan for Keith. And then I don't know what I'm doing. I think I did 33 items last year. Some months I'd done 4 items. I think one month in the summer I did 6 items in the month, but they were mainly t-shirts, so they were quite quick. So I don't know how fast or slow I'm going to be this year, but we shall see. So first, as I say, first on the list is this cardigan, but I've got loads of patterns to get through. I'm trying to ignore pattern emails that come in and fabric emails that have stopped. I did stop a lot of them. I get 1 or 2, and sometimes I was a bit tempted, but I'm trying to go and do the stash busting, shop your stash thing. I want to try and get this down. I mean, it's not huge, it's not a horrendous amount, but I just want to see how I can reduce it before I go buying more stuff. I nearly bought stuff in the New Year's sales and just held back, and I thought, no, can't do it. It's not good. So I think that's it for this week, or this episode. So hopefully you found that interesting. I'd like to thank everybody who's liked and commented, and also, again, especially some new subscribers again. It's getting a bit mad, actually. Quite amazed by it, but we'll see how it goes. So thanks again for watching, and I'll speak to you all again very soon. Thank you. Bye.